Just wanted to tell everybody thank you for the prayers for the, most of you know I did a funeral of a dear saint of God. And if you've ever listened to Joyce Meyer, that's about how this gal was. Now, I know Irene knew her, and she was at her funeral. And I'm not lying if I say she was as godly as Joyce Meyer and that kind of. She actually spoke at Women of Faith and all kinds of stuff. She was just a pretty bush gal. And what a shindig we had for her, and we just had a great send-off. It's probably the most peaceful, wonderful funeral I've ever had the privilege of supervising. So thank you for your prayers and that. All right, so we're going to start today. We're going to do a little review. For some of you, this will be a review. For many of you, this will be brand new. We're going to do this week and next week. I've asked my wife to team teach with me again on the personality types. Next week is on love languages. All right. Now, many of you, since we went over this last year, you've grown in this over the year. You've gone, well, it's because he's a lion. Okay, well, I got to deal with that. I see that because he's a golden retriever. Got to be careful. So you've kind of learned and grown in this, and some of you are probably still going, well, I just quite still don't really get it. And some people are going, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Okay, so we feel like it is so important, and we have enough new faces that we felt like it's really important that we cover this again. Why? Because it is good for, well, exactly what it says. Harmony through understanding personality types. Harmony through understanding and knowing your significant other's love language. Now we also, for the college kids, I call it your motivational language. Because some of those big football players, love languages. Sounds got an accordion sissy to me. Because they, the love language. But call it motivational language because it's how we're all motivated. Each of us are motivated differently. But personality types, why is this so important? Because all of life is about relationships. Our relationships with our boss, our relationships with our students, our relationship. I mean, this has made a huge difference in our lives as teachers. In fact, we've been asked to teach this. We've taught it in Kansas and Colorado and all over the place in schools. She's taught it to the pregnancy crisis centers. I mean, all over the place because it is so important for people to work together and get the most productivity out of our lives. All right. Now, the other thing is this: the Bible says, "Live with one another in an understanding way." Now, it's talking about husbands and wives. Husbands, love your wives, and then live with her in an understanding way. The Bible talks about giving preference to one another. It talks about living in peace and harmony. Well, in order to do that, it really helps us when we understand that we're all wired a little different. We all, we don't all think alike. Some of us are just great leaders and drivers, and some of us are just great at loving and being the compassionate ones. And so we need to learn to embrace the difference. Vive la différence. Thank God for the difference. Embrace the difference, don't fight the difference. Now, we've seen this work so well with bosses and employees. When a boss realizes, all right, who are my lions, who are my otters, who are my beavers, and who are my golden retrievers? And I'm going to find out, and I'm going to motivate them by their personality type. This is huge. I've had people tell us that transformed my business. My relationship with my employees is night and day. I've had some of my students email me back and have said, Mr. Reed, thank you so much. They're always their most favorite part of the entire course, besides nutrition, is also love languages and personality types. And I've had college students that said, I had the bottom fell out with my dad in high school, and we just haven't been able to get along. Now I know why my dad acts the way he does and why I act the way I do. Now I get it. And so it helped them to get back, and then they learn the love languages, and that changes everything. So it doesn't matter whether you're single, you're married, this doesn't matter. This applies to every single person in this room. Here's one other little piece of tidbit I'll give you before we start. I tell young couples, and we raised 4, and the Bible says, train up a child in the way he shall go, right? Proverbs 17. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart. I always wondered, what does that mean? Because you think, okay, train up a child in the way he should go. So in other words, go to church, teach them the Bible, teach them praise songs, teach them to memorize verses. This is all very good, and it's very important. But when you really study that verse out in the original language, you begin to realize that's part of it. But what it really means is train up a child. Now follow this. Train up a child in the way he should go, or she, right? Train up a child in the way he should go. Now, we had 4 of them. There wasn't one of them alike. Now, you guys know that. You've raised kids. Our oldest son had a propensity to money. I mean, his thing was business, money. How, and he can sell freezers to an Eskimo. He can talk water uphill. And he's good at it. And he was good at it at 4. We have Jacob. Now, Jacob has always been good with his hands. He's been almost like an inventor. He could do things and go, Dad, wouldn't it be easier? And I'd be one of these dads who would go, son, I know, son, and I'd go and do my thing. And then I'd do it and I'd think, if I'd have done it the way he said, this would came out a little faster, a little better. And he's just a little kid. And I'm like, man, he's got a mind for this stuff. So then we've got to do something, and he'd go, Dad, and I'm like, yeah, Jacob. Is there something you'd like to say? Because I knew, well, and now he, he just he builds houses and sheds and remodels, and he's got a gift. So train up a child in the way he should go. Now that also means, what is his personality or her personality type? Because I need to know that. What is his love language? What is her love language? Because as I train them, I need to train them according to, by the ways of the Lord, but I need to train them into the avenues that God has created them to go. Okay? Builder, money, giver, merciful. And the Bible talks about all the gifts that we have. The gifts, the talents. We are to use those individually for harmony and building each other up. So this is really, really helpful when you kind of get a handle on this. So I'll shut up now and we'll start blabbing away. Has anybody not taken the test? Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna pull you out of your comfort zone, just like we did last time, because this kind of helps us and it helps you. We're going to sit everybody together by your animal type. So like lions will be in a certain place, beavers and otters and golden retrievers. Okay. So I'm going to let my wife do that and take over there. Go ahead.
What I want to know is, why are you making me do the bossy stuff? Wait, I know. Okay, so I need all of, let's do these 3 pews right here. Let's do lions. These 3 will do beavers. And we're looking at your primary personality type, the one that you are highest on. These 3 right here, otters. And these 3 right here, golden retrievers.
Where are otters?
That's the thing about otters.
Well, that's because they were talking.
No, it's an otter. If I'm an otter,
Or the otters.
you're a retriever. Oh, yeah, he's right.
Sure.
All right, tell them why.
So Mark and I were just up here laughing because he was, okay, where did you put everybody? And I said, well, these are the lions. They're up front because they're the boss of everybody anyway, so they're up front. And otters, they want to be in the limelight all the time, so I put them up front, and he said, well, those are the lions back there, right? And I said, oh no, those are the golden retrievers. I put them in the back because that's where they want to sit.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
We don't want to.
We're sorry. We get it.
We don't want to.
Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you'll get it in a minute. You'll get it. Now, some of you, how many of you came out like equal on almost everything? Anybody? Okay. Okay, and that's, she would tell you, I want to be you when I grow up. Because that's great to be real balanced that way, right?
So one thing that you need to keep in mind through this entire message is that you are not one. You didn't come out 50 in one column and 0 in all the rest. Everybody is a combination, but you do have one primary language. And the reason it's so important to learn about that is because with all of the wonderful qualities of that personality type, there are also things that are not so good because of that personality type. And myself, when I was young, I started out right here, and I was the ringleader of all of them. I was very, very high in line and very little everything else. It was my way or the highway. I'm going from point A to point B, get out of my way, I don't need your help. And I don't think I was a very pleasant person to be around. And through a lot of prayer and God working on my heart, I have changed a lot. And it's because I looked at those things that, because of my personality type, that I really needed to work on, and I really worked on it. Probably Jacob, more than anybody else in the world, could tell you what a difference there has been in my life because of that.
She saw in her mother, and God will allow us to see things in other people that we look and go, do I look like that? Because when we do, because she said that about her mom, which is a great person, but she's very much a liar. And she goes, I do not want to act like that. And she said, and so she prayed, Lord, you changed my heart, and it was God that changed her heart. I want to say this before we start too. We've created a packet for you again. Many of you might have a packet from last year. This one is a little more in-depth, all right? We created a little bit more of a definition and some stuff that goes with each of these. And then we gave you the things that we'll go over today, which is what you got last year. And then at the very back, we created the test for you to make copies and you can give to other people in your life. Because like my college students will say, Mr. B, where do I get copies of that? And I'll be sending you a link, so watch your emails, because I'll be sending you a link to where you take the love language test this week. Even if you took it last year, take it again. Okay? There's one for kids, there's one for singles, there's one for couples. Okay? So now just make sure you look at your emails and get that done this week for next week. All right, so we'll make sure we give those to you before you leave today. All right? Thank you, Rick. Roll.
Mark,
Yes.
I recommend that both married couples take the single and the married one as well, because obviously the way people treat you is going to be different.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, good point. Hey, by the way, thank you, Adam, for just blurting out, because that's what we want today. We want you to ask questions. We don't want to we really want to make this interactive. So if you're going, I don't get it, or I've got a story, or or whatever, I can tell you, your angle on it. But let's make it interactive here. All right, so let's go to our first personality type. We have the lion. Now, Cynthia says you really need to get some more slides in there that are more positive about the lions. Okay? Because, we got the otters, the golden retrievers, and there's a whole bunch of there is a lot of positives. If you look over here, you'll see business owner, managers. We're a business owner. You're always leading people and doing like your animal shelter thing. So you've got people, Joe, you're on the road doing stuff like this. Jacob's he's the foreman on crews, the drivers, the leaders. Now Jacob has grown into a lion, but he started out very much a golden retriever. So God can transform you as you go through life, all right? But these are your CEOs, your leaders, your drivers, okay? That we need them in our life. Just remember that, so that we don't look like we're dogging on the lions, all right? All right, let's go ahead to the next one. All right, and I'm doing the positives. Okay, so I'm going to do the positives on the lions here. Remember, you're board leaders, decisive, independent, confident, they take charge, they're self-reliant, problem solvers. They have a very direct approach. Last time Cynthia and I taught this together, we were teaching it to a group of teachers in Crested View. And there was a teacher there that said, I didn't have time to take it, I got to take it. And she goes, well, you can't now. She goes, you can't now. In front of everybody. And I was like, oh, darling. I said, and the poor gal, you saw her just go. And I said, did you see what happened? And she goes, no. You see, lions don't know that they're just direct, because that's how God has wired lions to be. And you'll say things and people will be like, oh, okay, that was blunt. Okay, and they don't mean to be, but they are. And I've seen her say things and I'll say, back it down a little bit, back it down a little bit. Okay, and, but...
Tell them the story about the sunglasses.
Oh, yes, yes. And some of you might remember this story, and many of you have never heard it. We were in Uray, and of course, I thought, I put on this pair of sunglasses, and I thought I looked like a babe. I You know, I said, boy, I look good in the glasses. I said, hey, darling, and we're in this store is packed with people. I said, hey, darling, she's clear across the store. I said, what do you think of these? She goes, you look like a dork. Take them off. In front of everybody. And
I didn't say take it off. And I wasn't mean about it. I just went, you look like a dork.
I think that was
Because I didn't
implied.
want him wearing it around because then everybody else would be going, man, look at that guy. He looks like a dork.
yeah, well,
I was just being direct. I wasn't trying to be mean.
Kurt.
Dorks are cool.
Amen, brother. Thank you. In fact, we need to have a dork category, don't we? Fill the dorks. All right, so, but you know what? They are the organizers. The positives of these people are they get things done. If we didn't have lions, and they might rub us the wrong way, they might be blunt, they might be direct, and as they age and mature, they get softer and more, and I think understanding this, and then when you understand those love languages and those how to motivate people by their love language, it changes everything for you, whether you're a lion, otter, beaver, doesn't matter. But we need these people. I mean, if it wasn't for them, man, we wouldn't get anything done in our world, our families, our country, or anything.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the negative part of this personality type. Because we want to run the show and want things our way, we can be stubborn and bossy. We like to have control, and that can be actually a positive trait also. But some people see it as a negative trait because it seems so bossy. Argumentative, because it's our way or no way. Impatient, pushy, harsh, and blunt. Quick-tempered, because they just want to get the job done.
What, Pat?
What is it?
And inflexible, because we see it one way, our way.
And let me just tell you on the controlling part, we were doing marriage counseling with a couple, and he is an extremely controlling man. And it's helped her to understand that it's part of what makes him secure in life is that he has to have his life in control. Now, who knows what makes us that way? Some people are controlling because they've had so much crisis and so much loss in their life that they are trying to hang on tightly because they can't, I don't want to lose anything or lose anybody, and so we become controllers. It's kind of a whole different avenue, right? But for lions, if I don't control it, it's not under my control, it's not going to get done right. Okay? So we got to do it. Their motto is what?
I would say.
Their motto is, let's do it my way. And their motivation is to have control.
Okay.
But I still love you, babe.
You can all visit him at the shelter for battered husbands later. Okay, so we'll try to show you the mottos as we go along here, and let's go ahead to the next one. And my wife and I are always saying this, you know, it's like she'll do something, I'll say, you're not the boss of me. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
And, you know, the thing is, and here's how we've had to learn to live with this. We have, Jacob and I and all 4 kids, we used to try to, you know, we'd go pack the car. We thought we were doing a great thing for her. Because we'd have all these suitcases. Of course, when the girls go, you know, to visit somebody for a couple days, it's 3 weeks worth of clothes and makeup and glitter and all the stuff. So us boys thought we were doing something really good, didn't we? We'd grab these thousands of bags and we'd go down and we'd pack it in a car, bungee cord the thing shut, you know, or whatever. Well, because she's a beaver lion, we realized, because she'd come down and she'd hurt our feelings because she'd just start unloading the car. And she'd just start throwing everything out in the driveway.
It's because when they had it packed and bungee corded shut, there was still 5 bags on the sidewalk.
Well, that we weren't done yet. We were going to figure out a way to strap her to the top or something. We've got it done. But the thing was, she could pack it in there to where a mouse can't even burp. Okay? I mean, I'm serious. And we learned, okay, then what she needs us to do is carry it to the car, drop it off, let her pack. Because she's a meticulous beaver and she has to be in control of it. That's her lioness. I've got to be in control. So we just learned to do that, and we've done it ever since. We load the dishwasher that way. It's like, okay, bring it, you know, do what we've got to do. Help her as much as we can, but let her be in charge of it. Okay? And it's worked a whole lot better for us. Next one.
Good answer.
That's right. Now,
So, At the very end of this, we'll talk about different combinations, but can you just imagine, is there anybody sitting in here with their spouse up here in the lion category?
No.
So if two lions marry, you can see how there could be a lot of conflict. We'll talk about that later.
Because we're always fighting for control, right? We're always fighting for control. And it's hard if you have, because you know when the Bible says, wives submit to your husbands. If it wasn't for the Lord helping us do that, then you couldn't do it. If you were both lions, that's pretty tough, all right? Okay, so hopefully this doesn't look like you in your kitchen at home. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, our otters. All right, who are the otters? Right here. Now, who believes that Daniel's an otter? Right? I mean, there's not a day that goes by, he and I can get on the phone and all we do is hee-haw our heads off and laugh, and he brings laughter and jokes into people's lives because for the otter, next one if you would, Hannah, the otter, it's all about the party, life is fun, let's play, okay? And fun, all is good on the otter, everything, don't sweat the small stuff, everything is small stuff. You know, let's just bring joy and laughter into lives, and we really frustrate lions. And if you're a boss and you have an otter on the job, this can be very frustrating, or you can use it to your advantage. Now, if you take, for example, Target. Target has learned to introduce play into their workforce. In other words, when a new shift comes on, you'll see them outside playing a game of some sort together. And that's because they're trying to build some kind of cohesiveness. You put the people in charge that are the otter personalities because they know how to bring the fun. Okay? That's what they're all about, the class clown. As a teacher, if I have a student and he's a class clown, I can either scold him and set him back in the back and I can just work against him, or I can use his personality to bring fun into my classroom, but teach him how to do it appropriately. Here's when you do it. Here's how you do it. But don't do it while I'm talking and that kind of thing. So you teach him how to be an otter. Let him be an otter. I mean, I know, Aaron, you're a class clown. I already know that. We have to teach him how to do that so he doesn't get his head pulled off or get fired from a job. Because a boss, if you're screwing around on the job, the boss is going to send you down the road. You should. But if you can say, you know, I could really use that guy's personality to maybe bring some fun into this joint. Now, they figured this out at City Market when I worked there because there were two of us that were otters. The boss hated it. But when he started seeing that when we worked with people, the productivity went way up. We got more done. We treated customers nicer. Why? Because we brought so much fun, people wanted to come to work every day. Because we were always joking and pranks and all kinds of stuff. Let's go next.
Okay, so personality traits for the otters. They are enthusiastic about everything. They like to be the center of attention. They are spontaneous, life of the party, fun. That's why Tigger's on there. They mix easily with anyone. If you know my husband, he can talk to anybody, anywhere, for as much time as he can. Great sense of humor. They make friends easily. They take risks. This is one that was actually not on the information that we got, but I put it on there. A little child that never grew up. I think that fits my husband. And they are all about relationships. So an otter, they are the fun people to be around. So if you don't have much fun in your life, find yourself an otter to hang out with.
Which she will tell you that as a lion beaver, that I have really lightened her up in life. Because she has helped me get a little more organized, a little more forethinking, because she's a lion, and that's helped me. What do you say?
I said a little.
Just a little bit. All right, so there's the door. We're going to go around two after a while. No, we're not. Yeah, no, we're not. Okay, so the negatives. We tend to talk too much, and we are poor listeners because we just want to always interject the fun and stuff, right? She says that we exaggerate. I don't think I've ever exaggerated a day in my life. Egotistical, the class clown. Others think they are loud, phony, and immature. You know, this whole thing of we always have to be the center of attention. It's not that we want to be the center of attention because we're trying to make it all about me. It's we're trying to lighten your life up. We're trying to bring, you look at Robin Williams. He was an otter. Through and through. Okay? But look at the joy, the laughter, what he brought into this world. All right? Poor time management, cannot keep a secret.
What?
In my position, I have to. All right? So I don't have a choice. Often interrupt others, and then make up stories to get people to like them. I've never made up any stories. You can add notes. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right, there I'm hanging out with my people. That's my people there. Yeah. They are playful, but you'll notice they're social. They want to be around others, and they like to be around others. And here's something to be said right here, is that a lot of times in churches, things they're construed as a clique. In other words, well, it seems like that family's a clique. They always hang together with so-and-so, and they hang together with so-and-so. It really isn't necessarily a clique. We do have to watch for that. But maybe otters get along better with otters. Now, we're all, if you take a choir or a group of instruments, the saxophones sit with the saxophones, the violins with the violins, the trumpets with the trumpets, and so on. They make harmony together, but they are best together. And so, in life, we just tend to gravitate towards the ones that, I loved it. It doesn't mean I don't love or anybody else and enjoy conversation. I love Kurt for the wisdom he has, and I love to catch him after service because he's got a lot of wisdom in the Word. I love to meet with Daniel because I know he's going to make me laugh. We gravitate, though, to the people that we are most like, I think. And so we just have to kind of keep that in mind and don't always see that as a clique. All right, next one. So the idea here is just let them bring the fun into your life. Let them bring fun into your business. But give them the parameters. Teach them how to make the parameters. In the family, we had, my oldest son could be a stand-up comedian. True. And so let them bring the family. Teach them in the way they should go. All right? If they're funny, let them be funny, but teach them how to do it properly. Questions about otters or lions? Comments you want to make about questions? Okay. All right. Next one. Yes, I'm her otter half. That's what I said, tell her I'm your otter half.
I'd like to say something.
Yes.
Sam, where do you fit? Are you an otter?
I'm a lion otter.
He's a lion otter. So this morning in Sunday school, I had Aaron and Hayden and Sam. Otter, lion otter. And I have an agenda. It didn't go well, but I mean, Sunday school went well, but the agenda did not go well.
You weren't supposed to that. We gotta go by her agenda. All right, here we go. The beavers. Now, where are the beavers? Those are beavers, right? Okay. Now, yes, and if you look at them, you can tell. Now, I know these people are very attentive to details. It's all. Next slide, if you would. You'll see here. Let's do it the right way. That's their idea. Let's do it the right way. Okay? Not necessarily my way, but we're going to do it the right way. All right? Now, next one, if you look. Okay, they're always working. This is where we get the busy beaver full thing. I've told you before, my wife, she kicks in at about 11 o'clock at night. Most people are winding down. She kicks in and off she goes. And I mean, she's working and she gets more done than an army. And she has the energy. I mean, I told you before, she can short out a motion detector. Okay? And her shadow's always behind her because she's a busy beaver. She's always working. Now, but she's not like Mary and Martha, and Martha was always busy, and Jesus said, you're so worried about her. She's not that kind of a worried work beaver. Okay? She's just a worker. All right, next one. And this is where it comes in right here. For beavers, it's all about the details. Okay, now if you look at this, and I worked with a guy like this, we were teachers. Now I'm an otter. I'm all about, let's just, elementary PE. Let's just set this thing up. I shoot from the hip and we're going to have fun, and I was one of the kids. I was just one of them. And I know how to make this fun. Let's just let him come in. He's over there, oh no, we got to measure. And for the game, he's measuring out the squares on the floor to make sure we have the exact distance of this goal. And I'm like, they're elementary kids, they don't care. They just want something to kick it into. He said, it's got to be right. Well, I can get really angry about that. Or I can say, it's who he is. It's how he is. Let him do his thing. Boy, do we need these people in our life, though, right? We really need. Hey, you got Kurt's an engineer, right? That fits. I mean, that's a lot of, attend to some details, all right? Next one. Okay, so the positive part of the beaver is they are practical. They're very detail-oriented. They're the ones that dot the I's and cross the T's. Now, you take Nikki, for an example, who's teaching, is she in here? She's in Children's Church right now. So she is extremely, she's constantly, she gives me a list, okay? She gives me a list. Now, otters don't necessarily like lists, okay? But she'll give me a list and say, make sure we got to make sure they have this, or this done, did we call this, and make sure you email them. It's like, well, I appreciate that, okay? Because we have to have those kind of people. They're predictable, sensitive, thoughtful, serious, talented, neat and tidy, organized. Now, we're going to give you a quiz at the end of this, and you have to kind of determine what personality it is, all right? Organized, punctual, sacrifices for others, and moralistic. Now, beavers are, if you're punctual, it drives you crazy when people are late. Kurt's smiling. Like, you know, and for this kind of person, so the otters, we're kind of like, you know, whatever, we'll get there when we get there. But at the same time, for a beaver, if you got a beaver for a boss, well, you better be there on time. Brad, one of our deacons who's not here today, he's very much a lion beaver. And if you're late to something, I'm going to make him happy, right? So you just have to know they're not a jerk. That's just who they are, all right?
On the negative part of the personality of the beaver, beavers don't tend to have any fun because it's not on the list. It doesn't accomplish anything. They are, I call what I have completion compulsion. It's my own self-diagnosis. But when I start with the list at the beginning of the day, I feel like I have to get that list done. And if I don't, then I really get down on myself. Well, there's no room for fun in that list because the list is never going to get done. It's always longer than you can ever actually accomplish. I do want to say one thing. Last year I went through the principal licensure program through Western State, so I was teaching, I was coaching, and I was doing about 30 hours of homework a week. And so there was no real time for sleep. And in my past, I have always taken on as much as I can. And because I want to accomplish things. And so at that point in my life, and I've always been a very stressed person because I took so much on. And last year, at 50 years old, I knew I started that program, and I knew there was no way, I didn't know how I was going to do it and actually sleep more than 1 hour a night. I didn't know how, and so I finally just said, God, you have to take this. It is way bigger than me. Do you know what? I had the most stress-free year of my entire life. 50 years it took me to figure out, just give it to God. So it was awesome.
And she's also very, straight A student. Because she's a beaver, I'm not going to settle for the C. It's got to be done right? So.
Can you go back to that, Hannah? I'm sorry. So, beavers tend to fret and stress a lot because they're trying to get the list done. It's hard to get them to change their mind because they want perfection and they have it worked out in their mind. I mean, we have things worked out 200 moves ahead, whereas the otters on that move, there is no future. There's just that fun. I love otters. They do not do well with change, unrealistic expectations of self and others because we're trying to get everything accomplished. Prone to depression and being moody, and I think that is from not being able to accomplish the list. I just think that's what that's for. I'm seeing some heads nodding in all sections because I think everybody has, like I say, you're not just one thing, you have some traits of all.
List, I always have her put it in a fun order, put the funnest things first, right? Because that's how that list will get done for me. If it's fun, I might do it, but I'm not too good at lists. All right. Did you know tell about reading here?
No, I'm going to wait till
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one, our last one here. And this is what a beaver does. They just start nibbling away at that list, but you have to understand about a beaver, and we tell married couples, Look, it's, you know, my wife never stops. It's always about this list and what it's like. It's because that's where their security is. That's where their peace is at, is by accomplishing, right? As much as it is for me to go have fun or be a life of the party or whatever, it's important for them to accomplish that list. Don't fight it, use it. Okay? Use it. You know, when we go camping, I've always just gone camping. And we get there, sleeping bags. Anybody bring sleeping bags? Oh, we forgot the sleeping bags. How about a tent? Well, we forgot that too. Well, we got a can of beans. Good enough. When she came into my life, all of a sudden, we've got everything. It's like, I wish we had a canoe. Oh, here, right here. It's in my purse here. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, it was to the detail. She has things. She got this little, well, I should have brought you a little pill packet thing. She got this little organized thing for, you know, you open it up and it's got pills for allergies and you name it, you know, antacids, and she's got all the stuff because, you know what, thank God for beavers, man, because especially for otters, we need them. So what I brought into her life, she probably brought a whole lot more. Let's go next. Okay, now we're on the golden retrievers, all right? And let's go to the next one. Golden retrievers are the sweethearts, all right? They are the peacekeepers, and that's why Dan said, I said, you guys are sitting in the back, and he goes, we're sorry. Okay.
That was Pat.
What's that?
That was Pat.
Oh, is that Pat? Oh, okay. Because they are sorry. That's like, they don't want to rock the boat. It's all about keeping the peace. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'll do what you can walk on me if you need to. You know, and for years, when Jacob was younger and he was so golden retriever. As he's grown into a man, he's becoming this great leader. But he was so golden retriever that he had a boss that would just work him like a Missouri mule and would pay for 8 years, paid him the same thing, wouldn't give him a raise. And I'm like, Jacob, stand up for yourself, son. Go ask for a raise. Oh, Dad, I don't want to make the boss mad. So they're kind of an old guard, right? That's kind of how they are. These are the ones, they have a hard time being socialites because they just want to keep the peace. They don't want to rock the boat. Next one. This is their motto, okay? Let's just do it the easy way. Let's do it the easy way, okay? And if easy means whatever we have to do to keep the peace, let's just keep it smooth and easy, all right? Next one.
Yeah. Okay, so I always say the golden retrievers are the wonderful people of the world because they are so compassionate. I don't have any compassion, so good. It's good.
This is not true. She does.
Okay. For the positive traits of a golden retriever, they are sweethearts. They're very loyal. They're patient, dependable, kind. They make really good mediators. So if you're having some kind of conflict, a golden retriever is really, really good at looking at both sides and helping mediate. They're very good support people, excellent listeners, easy to get along with, sympathetic, calm, low-key, compassionate.
They tend to be unenthusiastic, afraid to make decisions. Why would they be afraid to make decisions? Don't rock the boat. If I make a decision, what if I make somebody mad? So, you know, Gene Taylor's, you got somebody down there and they're like, you're like, they just don't seem very motivated. Maybe it's because they just don't want to make somebody mad or make the boss mad or who knows. Maybe that's just their personality. Fearful and worried because what if I do rock the boat? Too passive. They tend to let people walk on them, push them around. Okay? Who do you think likes, who do you think likes the golden retrievers the best? Exactly, because they're easy to walk on, right? Okay, they don't stick up themselves, lack motivation. Now I'm changing this because I told Cynthia, because I said I always hate it when we say typically lazy, because I don't think they're lazy, they're just...
I think they're seen as lazy because they don't take initiative, because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to hurt people's feelings. So I think people, I think the reason that that's on that list is people might see them as lazy.
If you look at the people that are in that section, I don't see a lazy person in that bunch, see? So that's what I mean, is they're not lazy in the way we're thinking about lazy. They just don't want to cause a problem. Okay, next one. Okay, so here's your motto.
So that's what I've kind of written on the board here, I just wanted you to see it as we were going along. But the motto of the lion is let's do it my way, because they want to have control. Beavers, let's do it the right way. They're looking for perfection. Otter, let's do it the fun way, because they want to have fun. And golden retrievers, let's do it the easy way, because if they just ease into it, there is no conflict. So, can we talk about the combinations now? So, like Mark just said, who usually in a relationship, and as I look around, I only see one couple sitting together. Interesting, right? Not to me. Because usually a lion and a golden retriever mesh very well. A golden retriever is looking for someone to direct their life. They don't want to make decisions. They want someone to make it for them. A lion's all about that, right? I'll make your decisions for you. And so the lions like that because they can be directed, and then that person does what they're told. But after a while, guess what happens? The golden retriever gets tired of getting bossed around. The lion gets tired of the golden retriever never making a decision for themselves, and then there becomes conflict. Guess who the beavers need? The beavers need otters. We need fun in our lives, and the otters need someone to organize them and yeah, help them get it together. So that makes very, very good pair. Pretty soon the otter's saying, man, that person never has any fun. And the beaver says, man, is that all that person does is have fun? They can't get to anything on time, they can't ever find anything, they make a list and then they can't find their list. And so conflict arises.
Careful.
So, and then there's a combination of lion and lion. There's conflict there. Otter and otter. Boy, they have fun, but nothing ever gets done. Beaver and beaver. A lot gets done, but sometimes fun is lacking. Golden retriever and golden retriever. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. So in all relationships, there are conflict. And so it's really important for you to know what you are, as well as be able to pick out what other people are that you have relationships with. And that way, if there is a conflict, it can help you resolve the conflict. Can I tell the story?
You can. Let me say one thing. So train up a child or your grandchild in the way they should go. Okay, he's a beaver. I want to encourage him to find otters. If you're, for a wife, encourage otter and not another beaver or a lion with a lion and so on. So that's part of our responsibility.
I just want to tell a little story about, some of you heard this when we spoke about this last year. But in Kansas, I coached a cross-country team, middle school kids. There was about 80 of them. It was a huge team. And we were a couple of blocks away from school where we practiced in a park. And I had the practice down to, a gnat's behind. Every single second was accounted for. Well, we had about 10 minutes left, and in my mind, I was going to do a 3-minute run, a 30-second rest, a 2-minute run, a 30-second rest, a 1-minute run, and then we'd gather our things and go back to school, which took about 2 minutes. So I had it right down to the second. Well, the otter pulls up, gets out of his truck, and all the kids, Mr. B! And they go running up the hill, and I'm like, hush! You have a 3-minute run, go! Well, they all ran off to go do their 3-minute run. There was the otter with no audience. That was not a good idea. He was mad. And I was mad because I'm looking at my watch. Okay, so he disrupted my practice for about 17 seconds. Now I'm not going to get my 1-minute run in. So I'm mad. He's mad. We go home later. We grump around the house for 2 hours. We didn't talk to each other. Right? And then we started realizing, if I would have just looked at my watch and said, oh, he's an otter, am I going to make Olympians out of middle school kids in 10 minutes? How stupid is that, right? But it rocked my boat because, that's the beaver in me. So if I would have just said, he's an otter, give him the 10 minutes, let the kids have fun, everybody's happy. Or if he would have pulled up and said, okay, she's a beaver, I know she's got this time down to the second, I'm going to wait till the kids gather their things to go to school before I get out of my truck. Either way, the conflict could have been avoided. Instead, we lost 2 hours of our lives together because of stupid personalities.
That's what it means. Live with each other in an understanding way. So I've had to learn how to do that. There's been times, like, what was it just recently, that I actually stayed back and she was closing up a class, and I purposefully stayed back so that I wouldn't disrupt the thing, right? So I've had to kind of learn how to give and take, and she's done the same thing. So she'll give me a few extra minutes to teach kids at the end, whatever you talk about, read it.
I will. I want to tell you about a work situation. Many years ago, I worked for Colorado State Parks, and I worked in the law enforcement unit. There was a girl named Rita, and we were friends outside of work. We hung out together all the time, real close friends. But she worked down in boat registration, and if I would need something from her, I would go down and I would say, Rita, here's this and this and this. I need it by 2 o'clock. See ya. And I'd go back to my desk, and somebody would come up to me and say, Rita's crying again. So I couldn't figure it out. And then I would get my stuff 3 days later, it would be wrong, and I'd have to redo it. It was so frustrating. Well, then I went and I learned about personality types. And I learned that I was a very strong lion when I was young. And she was a golden retriever. And so what she needed was a lot different than what I was doing. So I learned that if I went down to her desk, and I sat across from her desk, and I said, hey Rita, how are the kids? How's life? How's things going? And we would chat for 3 or 4 minutes. Do you know what a beaver can do in three or 4 minutes? I mean, that ate me up inside. But I just talked to her, and then I said, oh, by the way, here are these papers. Well, you know what to do, and whenever you get to it is great. And I'd go upstairs. And at 2 o'clock on my desk would be the project, and it would be done correctly. Forever after that. Yeah, it was amazing, the difference in understanding what she needed, how she needed me to be different because of her personality type.
So that's why we're talking about it as a business, in a family, in a school, in whatever, because all of life is relationships. It's so important to know I want to get the most productive out of that person. And that's why the personality types and the love languages go together so much. Because next week, we also talk about what else she did. She filled her love language, because her love language was quality time. And she gave her that. And that changed everything. All right, so that's what we get into. Now, I think we're going to start a quiz real quick, and then we'll let you out here. Before we go to the next slide, I'll tell you a little something here, and you tell me what he is. My grandson, Kason, we're watching him at Christmas time. Most little boys he was 2 at the time, now he's almost 4, right? So he's just ripping, or most kids rip presents and just throw paper, and they don't care about paper. He's taking it apart really neat. And then he lays it over here, and he's got the green, and he takes this one, and it's red. He's 2. And he's got a stack. What is he? Beaver. And she goes, we've got a beaver in the family. I mean, a serious beaver. Jacob needs to know, I've got to train him. He's going to be good for details. He's going to be meticulous. It's going to frustrate him when something doesn't happen the way he thinks it should and when he thinks it should, and it does already. So even as they're little, you understand, okay, he's getting worked up. He doesn't have to have a spanking necessarily. We need to teach to that personality type. Like a beaver does not like their plans changed. You have something planned, you got a schedule, and it gets their plans changed, it rocks them. Okay? And it makes them mad, it hurts their feelings, makes them cry, everything. So you need to, when we know that, we can understand it a little better. All right? Okay, let's go to our, go ahead, let's go. So you tell us what personality types these are. My wife wants this t-shirt. What's that personality type? That's a beaver. Yeah. That's a beaver. All right. Okay, next one. Who would this bother in the room? Raise your hand. Okay.
That'd drive me up a wall.
All those beavers back there. Because now this would drive. I mean, all of us would be going, oh, that needs to be fixed, right? But for a beaver, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Brad sits down here, and one day the pulpit was a little crooked. And that's all he could focus on. It was driving him crazy. He didn't hear a thing I said. He goes, we got to fix that. Right? And he was going down the hall the other day, and you said he saw pictures of it. He goes, this drives me out of my mind.
Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah. So here again, you're like, well, what a weirdo. No, he's a beaver. He wants it right. He wants it right. Don't fight it. Use it, okay? All right, next one. Whose closet is that? Definitely beaver. Could be lion, lion, beaver. Okay. Lions kind of like things in order to. Okay, next one. This is going to be Pat McKee and I. This is the kind of grandpa I'm going to be. I mean, because I'll be down there in the pond and the skivvies playing in the water hole with the grandkids when I'm 90.
There's
Lord
Daniel
willing.
right now.
What's that?
There's Daniel right now.
That's right. Yeah, there's Daniel right now. So, yeah. So, you betcha. Next one.
That could either be otter or golden retriever.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
Yeah, otters are golden retrievers, all right? And here's the thing. They know exactly what they're looking for. They know where it is. They just got to go dig for it. Next one. Okay. We have two rooms, a little dark, hard to see. We have two rooms there. What's the one on the top? Okay, so when I was in college, I had this roommate. I'm an otter, always have been an otter, full otter, nothing else. I go off to college, and this is me, and that's him. He was the best thing that ever happened to me. Taught me how to file, how to balance a checkbook. Well, you know, sorry about that. The best thing that ever happened to me before her. Yeah, pre-Cynthia. All right. But he wouldn't have liked me even worse though, if I hadn't met him, because he really did bring some organization. Now I have his daughter in my college class, so it's kind of cool. All right, next.
Obviously, his wife is a bird.
Or what is she? What is she really? She's a lion, yeah. Yep. Daniel, I thought you'd like that. Did you like those teeth? All right, okay. Attention to details. Now again, this obviously is over the top. You're going, well, I'm not that bad. Well, I know. But there, you know, I've worked with beavers where if you're doing a fence, it's like, let's just get the fence in the ground and get it up. It's got to be straight. We got to do the plumb line. We got to do all of it, right? So they'll drive you crazy, but at least it's done right. Okay, next. Find the otter. Or you can find the otters. You got two of them. Now this was Jacob when he was growing up, because we'd go to wrestling practice. And he would be sitting, they'd be teaching how to do a double leg takedown, and Jacob would be over there spinning around, or when he played t-ball, he's out in the outfield with his men. And spinning circles, and I would say, Jacob, son, pay attention, you're not even listening, and it would frustrate me. And then he'd go out to wrestle, and he would do a perfect textbook double leg takedown. He could listen but he could only listen when he was doing it. Because for an otter, they're catching it. But so when you're like, if you're a teacher, I mean, you've got these you know, class clowns. You're going, he's not paying attention. That's not necessarily true. Okay. What's bad is when they mess everybody else up, right? Okay. But anyway. No, we're not saying that golden retrievers don't like a list or that. We're just saying that beavers are driven by the list. What's that?
It's an otter.
Yeah, we don't want them to turn away.
That's right. Exactly right. All right. This would drive Brad out of his mind. Yeah, I mean, if you had to sit there and look at that, you couldn't. I mean, if I left this up here, the whole time you'd be thinking, the beavers would be going, wishing they could move that, right? Or you got a hair out of place and you're going, I wish I could fix that hair on his head, right? Because that's the beavers. They're just so distracted without the details. Okay.
Peace, love, God.
Now, this is one of our daughters, and just by looking at her, what do you think?
Otter.
Yeah, she's so much an otter. She comes into the room, look at Jacob nodding his head. She walks into a room, lights it up, man. I mean, she is the life of the party. She's loud. She's always been loud. But she is so funny, and she brings so much fun. Her friends are like, make sure she's in here. You know, make sure she comes, or whatever. You always want the otters where there's going to be fun in that. So we wanted to show you that one, plus we think it's a cute picture. Very good. Now again, maybe everybody uses, I mean, lions use a lot of this stuff because they're lions and that's what keeps them driving. And so, and lions and beavers work pretty darn well together. And usually the lions do you lions have like a combination of beaver also? You guys have? No? Just straight up lion, huh, brother? Don't you have some golden retriever also? Which is a real interesting mix. Golden retriever lion. That's a real interesting mix. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can look at it like that. You bet. I have had day planners where they don't have a thing in them. What's that?
John's feet.
That's, oh, there you go. Now, see, that's a really good observation. He notices, good leader, but he has meekness. It's that power under control. That's the golden retriever. That's good. That's awesome. So, when you see that, and now, again, we share this because when we know this about each other, we can have harmony. When we go, well, you know, we say something, like I'm an otter, I may say something to hurt somebody's feelings. I didn't mean to at all, because that's the last thing I want to do. I may have just in the middle of the fun said something stupid. As a lion, she may blurt something out and it may hurt your feelings. What do you do with that? Do you get mad at them and hold it in, or do you talk to them? Do you, hey, that hurt my feelings? That's why it's so important to communicate within our personality types. Any questions?
Can we make a comment?
Yeah, Kurt.
This same course, oddly enough, if you haven't seen it, is taught in the business world. It's a company called Wilson Learning Center. And they put different names, but it's the same characteristics. Because the lion is a driver, the otter's expressive, the beaver's called an analytical, the retriever's called an amiable. And so you see those four quadrants, and then the rest of what you guys are seeing, bits and pieces of the other, within each of those dominant four quadrants is the little quadrant again, so you can have bits and pieces of all four of those,
Yeah,
even in your primary quadrant.
that's good.
So this is awesome how this applies to us, but I'm just saying this is a big deal out in the business world.
It really is. Yeah, that's why we teach it to everybody. If you're a teacher, you've got to know this about your students. You want to make your students perform? You know, when Jacob was in his golden retriever mode, I wanted him, he was a senior, he was the stud wrestler on the team, we wanted him to be a captain. He's like, I don't want to yell at people. He's a golden retriever, I don't want to yell at people, I don't want to motivate them. Now he'd probably be glad to do it, okay? But then it was like, no, don't make me do that. I just don't want to be a captain. But you're the stud, I don't care, I don't want to be a captain. So we know this, we motivate, we don't hurt feelings, we work within it, okay? What else? Okay? So we just feel like it's, as from the Christian standpoint, and please remember to, this is so important to teach our children, our grandchildren, our co-workers. You know, you can learn by observation. I can watch everybody and I know who my golden retrievers are. I can tell who my otters and beavers, I mean, you can tell it just as you mingle. If you're a boss, if I wouldn't be a boss without giving them a love language test and a personality test. I would want to know how to motivate them within their personality type and love language. So we want everybody to have one of these before you leave. Yeah, there's, and I'll go send you that link. I'll be sending you the link. But it's the online love languages tank. It's called the 5 love languages with the number 5. The 5lovelanguages.com. I'll send it out, but it's only like 30 questions. And some of you may say, well, I know what I am, but go through it again. Just check it to make sure, because that'll be very important for next week. Okay. John, did you have a song?